flapping.
Chair feels weird.
Same chair that it's been.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I don't know.
So it's not your fancy chair.
No, it's not. It's not my Secret Labs chair. Although Secret Labs, like I think, I was actually thinking about this the other day. If I end up getting another chair anytime soon, which I've had my Secret Labs chair for over a year now, and love it.
Yeah,
love it. Make no mistake, like it's a great chair. But if I do end up getting another chair, I'm probably gonna get me like a nice office style chair, one with some good like ergonomic support and such.
Yeah, the gaming ones are pretty comfortable.
They have great like use when it comes to comfortability of, I guess, like armrests, back, but they don't have support.
No, like, I mean, and I think yours does too, but mine has some lumbar support, like a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the transition from the back to the bottom that I have the most trouble with. Like, I always kind of get the most kind of pain there, like kind of like in the coccyx and
mine's my ass.
All that.
Like, and I mean that in the sense, like, ass. But like,
I got a big ass.
If I sit there for too long, like my ass goes numb, and I understand like, you should be getting up and stretching regardless, but like I've sat in chairs, like and I know the viewers won't understand this, but like, I know you will. You remember that big chair we had at our old job that I kind of apprehended? That one, I would never get that feeling, but that was because it was built for support. Like the butt had a lot of good cushion in it.
Yeah.
It was, I could sit up straight in and still be comfortable. I could like lean back in it if I wanted to. It was a good all around chair.
Yeah.
I've sat in other chairs as well where you get good back support and your butt doesn't go numb. Whereas that one, it's a very flat base. Yeah. Like it's a very flat cushion base. There's no like cheek. You know how somebody had the cheek cushions?
Yeah.
Like
doesn't
nothing
really
like
have
that.
any give. It's definitely kind of hard, which can be comfortable. Like I like firm chairs, but just I think if you're sitting for a long time, like you sit for a long time, like way longer than I do. So, yeah, I don't know how you do it in that thing, but
truth be told, like, and the only reason I would buy another Secret Labs chair is if I were to get that Star Wars chair. Like, you got two really cool ones. It's the Stormtrooper and the Empire one.
Yeah,
and like those would be cool chairs to get, but. If I want something that's going to last me a while, I'll just give me a nice black like Herman Miller or something like that. Like I'll spend the money.
I've been thinking about that. Yeah, just to like it's a lot of money to spend, but
it's an investment.
It is an investment for sure.
Yeah. Like,
do you know why they got that big chair, by the way, at the old job?
Because the dude was like enormous.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, and then he like quit 2 weeks later.
Yeah. And then I inherited it.
Well, it went between me, Chris, and David. Like
it was like the seniority chair.
It was a seniority chair, and then for a while it was a sales chair, like whoever had the most sales.
Yeah, true.
And then you came along, and then you were like, "Mine, bitch."
Yeah, true. And this is a horrible thing. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but very quick. I remember my last day there. Jaylene, such a sweetheart, love her to death. She I remember I was like, hey, are you like leaving for lunch or anything, or excuse me, I was closing, so I was like, are you leaving for dinner? And she goes, yeah, do you want to close up shop? She's like, I know it's your last night and everything. I was like, yeah, I can close up, no problem. And the back room didn't have a camera in it, and so I just like, I was acting like I was cleaning the office, and I moved the chair to the back office where there's no camera and was like cleaning and whatnot because it was a slow night. Did the cash out, quick countdown, everything like that. Parked my car behind the building and threw the bitch in there and just took off. And they never asked questions. They didn't. They were like, I guess it's gone. Yeah. Like, never got a phone call about it.
Casually stealing, no big deal.
Hey, you know what? Don't do that. No, but unless it's worth it. Anyways,
that chair was worth it.
That chair was 100% worth it. That has nothing to do with our topic today, though.
What is our topic today, Joe?
This is weird.
Actually, wait, we haven't even said welcome to the Lousy Show.
Oh, yeah, valid. Welcome to the Lousy Show. I'm Joe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Words. I mean, what kind of Lousy Show would it be if we started correctly,
I mean, we have standards to live up to.
Yeah, clearly.
Or live down to? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. we like to step over them, not hurdle them.
No,
so
yeah. We're not exactly jumpers.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer a nice gliding walk, if you will.
Yeah,
Brisk.
I'd rather drive.
Valid. That's fair.
Yeah.
No, today's topic is we're talking movies,
but
I think this is going to go in a few different directions, and what I mean by that is we're talking specifically on the state of cinema right now.
Yep.
No, we're not talking about the strikes or anything like that. To be completely honest with you, I don't know enough about all of that to be able to have a knowledgeable conversation outside of I know that the Hollywood's on strike because they want to get paid more and have better working conditions.
Yeah. Although, fun little Easter egg, we were going to talk about that, but then that turned into the weed story.
Valid. Yeah. Yes.
And then it all kind of ended. Like, I think the actors union is still striking, but
both of them are.
well, the writers agreed.
Oh, did they?
They signed, yeah.
Okay.
But the actors are still, I think, I don't know. Anyway, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about just the state of like how things have kind of progressed within cinema over pretty much like the last decade.
Yeah.
Because it's been a big ramp up over the last decade.
Yeah. It's been rise and falls of empires for sure. So,
that's one way to say it, especially, knowing how things went with Star Wars. But like, that's something that so the reason, and the reason this topic got brought up was I was reading literally right before we started recording, speaking of which. I was reading right before we started recording. He's going to look. And
not going to look. You're saying?
Are you sure?
You're saying?
Are you sure it's actually going?
I'm pretty sure it's fucking going.
How sure?
I'm like 99.999%.
But that leaves that little sliver of doubt.
And I guess it's just going to be a show pointing directly at me this entire time. But fucking goddamn. All right.
Yeah. It's the shadows of doubt that were cast. I was reading before we went started recording. I was reading about how Eric Kripke, which if y'all don't know who that is, quick little synopsis. Eric Kripke is one of the show writers and runners for the first 5 seasons of Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you Supernatural fans out there.
Yep.
And also the show writer and runner for The Boys.
Did you ever finish Supernatural, by the way?
No.
Yeah,
I stopped at season 7.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. The first 5 seasons were fantastic. I made it through season 6 and I was just kind of like, I don't,
It changed a bit.
It was like me with Walking Dead too. Like
I couldn't get into Walking Dead to begin with. I don't know why. Like it was always just kind of meh to me.
The first couple seasons of Walking Dead I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Because it was an actual like zombie thriller. And then it became a docudrama almost of like, how do we live in post-zombie world?
Yeah.
Anyway, but Eric Kripke explained, especially after creating Gen 5 or Gen V or whatever they're calling it specifically, everyone has a different name for it. And if you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Amazon Prime, not sponsored,
it's really
but still
good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Prime sponsors. Not the drink. Actually, hey Logan, what's up? I don't know. Anyways, he said that he's not sure about his 5-season plan for The Boys anymore, and he's kind of scrapped that idea because it could go forever. Reason being is because of how well Gen 5 has been received and reviewed since its launch. No one knew what Gen 5 was going to be like. It seemed like it was going to be like this college drama, almost like a Saved by the Bell meets The Boys.
Yeah.
And it turned into quite possibly one of the best stories I've seen in shows
I'm actually
recently.
still a little behind, but yeah, so far, I mean, even just the first 3 episodes, I was like, oh.
I'm all really the way caught up, and it's really good.
Yeah.
But, Eric Kripke said, that he's not sure how long it's going to run anymore because, originally he was going to be 5 seasons and done, and now it could go on just like Supernatural did, where the fan base is growing every single day.
Yeah.
And this could go on for the next 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen stuff like that happen. Sam, I'm curious, first of all, because I know we talk a lot, but I don't really know. This is a question mark I have is, are there any shows you're like a super mega fan of that you could sit and watch for just 10, 20 seasons and still be able to keep going?
I mean, The Boys, I feel like, if they do it right, I can, they've kind of turned it up to where it could be a lot of different things. It's not just following one particular character or set of characters. It's like they're basically creating a universe here, which I'm a huge fan of. I mean, like what they've done with Marvel, for example, kind of extending that from movies down into TV shows, and just expanding that universe, but making it all still a canon experience so that it can go back and forth between them. I feel like there's the potential for that on The Boys. I don't think it'll ever get to theater kind of movie, because that's The Boys is raunchy, to say the least. But I feel like they could still like have the main The Boys series, and put that on forever, and then also have kind of these offshoot shows that help expand that universe and tell a bigger story. I've been a really big fan of, especially like kind of on the Star Wars side of things lately, expansion into the greater universe, because there's so many different stories to tell. And sure, the colored flashlights that kill people are super sweet, but a lot of the expanding story, like with Thrawn and everything else like that, is super 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 cool. And so I could definitely see myself watching The Boys forever, or I mean, if they kept doing stories kind of like Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, things like that, I can watch that forever.
So I want to say this. I want to backpedal for a second. I agree on The Boys side. I think that with shows like that, like for me, one of my biggest ones was The Flash. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a massive Flash fan. The Secret Lab share we were talking about, Flash. Like I have a fuckload of Flash memorabilia. Like I am a massive Flash fan. Shout out Wally West. Barry Allen's cool. Wally West is the best. But I could binge that show all the time. The problem is I can also sit here and say that some of those seasons were awful.
Yeah, well, you kind of fell off on the Flash show because it
got bad.
It got real bad.
The last 2 seasons got good. From like the end of season 4 to like season 7. It was it didn't make sense.
Felt like a lot of fluff.
And but the thing is, I will say, like there's shows that I could definitely do that with. However, you brought up Marvel. I'm kind of over Marvel.
I mean, it's been a thing for a long time.
Well, that's not even because of the time. It's because of how they. Okay, so
like their approach to it.
Their approach. So you got to think. So when we were growing up, I want to say the first Avengers came out when we were still in high school. Like Iron Man, Thor, Cap, all those movies came out when we were in high school. And it was awesome. All the friends to get together, go see Iron Man, go see Thor, go see Cap. Let's see what else came out at that time. We had Thor, Iron Man, Cap. There was another one. What was the other one? It was Iron Man 2? Iron Man 2, Iron Man 2 came out before that.
They mostly focused on them before they started expanding.
Iron Man 2 came out before that. I think there was one other one that came out before that. Either way.
I mean, technically the Hulk, but...
well, I mean, and that is... Marvel confirmed that is canon. That was definitely canon to the universe. So, but we came into the Marvel universe as knowing it to be providing like 1 to 2 movies at the start a year. Then it grew into like 3 movies a year, which was perfectly fine. You get one at the beginning, one in the summer, one in the fall, and the hype for them was always there. And they told these stories, this full saga of stories, all the way through the Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, Avengers 3, Infinity War, and then inevitably Endgame. And this decade or 11 years, I think it was, of saga was fantastic because we didn't really get into like the showrunnership until phase 4. And but even like we were getting when the Netflix side of things with the Defenders, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, those were outliers. They were almost like the Blade, if you will, like where you can go back and watch all 3, Blade movies with Wesley Snipes, fantastic movies. But they weren't canonically within the universe that was being built. Now in phase 4, I have to agree, and I hate that I agree with this, but honestly, I don't feel like I can't agree with it. It feels pushy. It feels it's
No.
like I love content. I love being able to watch shows. You and I, we talk about this stuff off air all the time.
Yeah.
But like it just feels like you're starting to get this overload, which makes sense about the strikes because if you see how much they're producing, like how much are they actually having to work on this stuff it's crazy.
Yep.
But it's just this massive overload of phase 4 where some of these shows just felt forced, rushed. Hell, I really wanted to love She-Hulk, but by the end of She-Hulk, I was like, this is kind of lame.
That one was kind of lame. Yeah, like it has some good moments, but yeah. And I agree with that. Like they definitely are pushing, I think, a little bit too hard on the Marvel side. I think if they could, I'm thinking more of a theoretical, like if they had took their foot off the gas a little bit and then even just started telling side stories. Like, I don't care if it ties into the greater universe.
Yeah.
You know, like just tell some side stories of some smaller characters.
Yep.
You know, and just have fun with that. It doesn't have to end with, you know, with Kang taking over or anything else like that, you know, like what they're trying to push right now. Like it could just be individual stories, you know, like, and I'd be totally fine with that.
I agree to a point, but I say I do like the thought that they are still going with a story of an overarching big bad.
Yeah.
The Thanos effect, if you will.
Uh-huh.
But like, and I'm not even saying this to the degree of like a lot of the comic book nerds out there, which I am also one as well, have a lovely collection myself, love reading, love the old stories. And I am a firm believer that new stories can be told with the same characters. Yeah. That is what comic book lore is about. That is what imagination's about.
Yeah.
So to all you out there who are going to say, but it's not canon, find another video.
Who fucking cares?
Click off. Like, I'm not gonna be your best friend here. I love that they're doing that. What I don't love is that they were trying to force feed us this content that really didn't push in that direction. Because if you remember, go back and watch Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1 was the kickoff, right? Yeah. It was the test of, can Marvel do this? Then you had Thor, which introduced Hawkeye as well. You had Iron Man 2, which introduced Black Widow. You had Cap, which introduced the Infinity Stone, right? Now we're getting into this, well, what are they building? What's happening here? Thanos, if you think back to Thanos, in that whole time, the whole story was building to him being the big bad to take over, right? You go back and look at the comics, Thanos was a simp.
Yeah.
He wasn't some big brutish bad dude. He was a dude who was so in lust with death, the goddess death.
Yeah.
That he went to the ends of the universe to find these Infinity Stones and literally kill half of them to sacrifice. Like, hey, look, I did this for you. See, do you love me now? No, fuck. Like, but in the movies, we get this whole like, honestly, someone who made kind of sense of like, hey, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah,
the universe is finite. Its resources finite. We're overpopulating. Like, we have to fix this.
Forgot to do airplane mode.
Fair. And we got this whole overarching saga of a story for that, right? And then we get into what if.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, what exactly is what if? Oh, it's the first telling of the multiverse. For me, I would have loved to have seen Marvel do one of two things here. One, I would love to have seen them keep the form of 3 movies a year, 2 to 3 movies a year, right?
Yeah.
1 show a year, max. I don't need all this extra. I don't need all this extra fluff. Don't serve me quantity. I want quality. That's why I fell in love with Marvel to begin with.
Yeah.
As a DC guru, as a DC nerd, I fell in love with Marvel because of their storytelling.
Yeah.
You could have still told us the story of Kang, but you could have gone into a direction of telling us the story of the multiverse.
Yeah.
We could have gotten a whole new Avengers lineup. You could have given us the same characters. We know RDJ's gone. Hey, love him, man. Like, RDJ is the GOAT. Love that he was Iron Man. This is the chance for you to now tell a multiversal story. And what could that do? Wrap back into the multiverse saga.
Yeah.
And now you still have the same thing. But I feel like what they did was and you're seeing this a lot with a lot of other channels, is they just started force feeding us so much television and so many movies that it felt like they just didn't care about the quality of the story anymore.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Because She-Hulk's definitely the worst example But for example, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I loved that storyline.
Was great.
Really good.
Guess what?
Even Hawkeye.
Do you know why those were great?
Because they tied back in? Or,
no, because they had 2 years to actually figure them out.
That's fair. Yeah. Like if they didn't just do like fluffy stories, like that's all I feel like She-Hulk was just kind of whatever stories. But
it introduced Daredevil.
It did introduce Daredevil back into it, which is cool. But,
that was cool, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like go back and tell me anything from that show.
Yeah.
That stood out past that. It was a whole, and make no mistake, I love She-Hulk. I think she's a great character. Fourth wall breaking all the time, very much like Deadpool does. Like nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
The problem I had was the story.
Yeah.
There was no depth to her story. Even her character building, no depth at all. Like I get she's trying to find love. She's trying to understand herself. She's trying to like be, this upstanding woman and the best, lawyer in the city and still being a superhero and understanding that side of things. But like, there was no depth to any of that.
No.
And make no mistake, I don't mind. I didn't mind seeing She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. That was hot. Yeah. But like, there was no depth to the story. That's what, again, I fell in love with on the Marvel side. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you're the same way there, but like,
I mean, of course, I mean, they do tell very great stories.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I just think, if I kind of think of it as like from the DC side where like Arrow and the Flash, for example, back when they were good, at least, were being told that was a totally separate world from DCU,
right.
Yep. So that was extended, not but they were still really good shows. They had great character development. They had really good storylines to them. For a while, at least, and then they rounded back up to that. But I wouldn't mind seeing something like that on the Marvel side personally, just because, like you said, I love the content. I like hearing about it, seeing it, all that stuff. So.
Well, even going past that, like give us something with like 10 to 15 episodes.
Yeah,
where it extends a full season. Right, do that once a year.
Yeah.
Like, I understand some of the actors might go without jobs, but they can find other jobs elsewhere while they're doing that. That's the whole point of acting, is to find as many jobs as you can, Yeah. And they want to get paid well for them. I fully agree they should get paid well for them. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
But like, give us a show where we can get continuity and context. And within that show, you can have overlaps. You can have stories kind of interweave with one another. Oh man, why did I just see Thor show up here? Oh, in the next movie you see, oh, that makes sense why he showed up there. Okay, cool. And it starts to interweave more. Like that is what was so fun about the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
And, you brought up DC. That's why DC got snuffed.
Yeah.
Because DC tried to keep up with the Marvel machine and didn't realize how they started.
Yeah.
Marvel started with just 1 to 2 movies a year. And then when Avengers hit, Avengers blew box office records off the charts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now they're like, okay, this train's moving. Let's keep going. DC, you look at them, you bring it up the CW universe, fantastic universe. Granted, yes, I agree that some of the seasons were awful.
Yeah.
But like those shows were great.
At the end of the day, it's a CW show. So like,
correct.
I was very impressed because it was a CW show, but then after a while it turned into a CW show, if that makes any sense.
It does.
And I was like, ugh.
we got Arrow, the Riverdale universe.
Yeah. Well, the Riverdale's really good, but I'm talking more like, what's the stupid vampire one on there? Is it Vampire Diaries or something like that? Or
something like that.
Yeah, like that one. No, get the fuck out of here. But
yes, don't forget Olicity. But even then, like that universe was still really well put together.
Yeah.
Because you got a different telling of the same characters.
Yeah.
It wasn't your standard Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman as the top 3 of the Justice League. You got the Justice Society of America, where the leader is Arrow, where he put together this team of Supergirl, Flash, White Canary. Who else was on that? Black Lightning. Who else? Hell, the Legends. Yeah. Even think about the Legends, like all of those and how the Legends evolved over time as well. You got a telling that made sense, and it provided character depth, regardless if it's comic books or not. Like I feel like this is the case in many situations, like the Netflix idea of like pump out as much content as you can for people to ingest.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's comic book related, if it's drama related, if it's whatever realm you want to sit in. It's the same concept across the board.
Yeah.
I just feel like Hollywood has got, or we as a society have gotten to a point where we ingest content to an abnormal rate.
Oh yeah.
And it's caused Hollywood to go, okay, well, we have to keep up with content consumption. No, you don't.
You just
Because
have to
here's
have
the
good
thing.
content. Like,
If you have good content, people will come. There's a reason people like Mr. Beast can put out a video and it hit 28 million views in a day.
yeah.
There's a reason people like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye can put out a gaming video, a Let's Play video, and it hit 1 million views just like that. There's a reason that content creators like Dude Perfect can go put out a trick shot video and it's going to blow the walls off of view counts everywhere.
Yeah.
It's because they're putting out good content.
Mm-hmm.
And Hollywood, I feel like, is forgetting that. You good?
Yeah, I swear I did airplane mode. But
Your watch is detonating.
it's my wife is talking about the Cowboys game right now.
Yes. I hope they're losing.
They're definitely not.
Oh, well, sad. What's up, Cowboys fans? How you doing? But I do feel like Hollywood is taking a page out of that book.
Yeah.
Of quality over quantity, and I don't like,
or quantity over quality.
Yeah, quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Thank you. Quantity over quality. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Quantity over quality. And it's not.
Yeah.
I can't find it myself to want to ingest anymore. The Star Wars side, though, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and God we trust.
Oh,
like all I'm saying.
I will worship them until. Oh my God. Yeah.
The Holy Trinity sits in Star Wars. That's all I'm saying. Like people in this, and anybody out there who's not Star Wars fans, we definitely are.
Yeah.
I will tell you this now. If you've ever seen a toxic fan base, they are a toxic fan base.
100%. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter on this, oh my God, is that I even remember seeing all these reports of people. Oh my God, Twitter blew up when they found out Ahsoka was being made. And everyone's like, Filoni's lost his mind. Filoni's like, heir to the Empire. Filoni's lost his mind. There's no way he can do that. There's no way he can do that. What do you mean? We just got one of the best Star Wars shows ever.
Yeah.
Now, make no mistake, I'm not taking away from like anything like Andor. Andor, fantastic show.
Yeah.
Fantastic show. But like, come on.
But that's like a perfect example of having good quality content
to expand the universe.
Yeah. They've been doing it perfectly. And I'll be interested to see if James Gunn does that on the DC side.
I have a lot of faith in him.
I really hope he did a great job with Guardians. So like, there's some hope there, but I'm gonna keep it reserved, reel it back a little bit, But
here's why I have faith in James Gunn. James Gunn has this unwavering notion to provide the quality over quantity. Yeah. He's done that by showing that through Guardians, and each individual iteration of Guardians has always gotten better.
Yeah.
The story has progressed more and more. Even if the Guardians were not prominent within the Marvel universe, he told this subsect story over a few years that allowed us to not only get to know these characters that were unknown at the time. Because you remember when Marvel first launched, and of course this might end up being all nerdy stuff, so forgive us.
It's gonna be.
But when Marvel first launched, the Guardians were unheard of unless you'd been reading comics.
Yeah. I didn't really know. I had heard of them, but I didn't really know who the fuck they were.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I personally didn't. And then when the Guardians got going, like you see the Guardians 1, it's like, oh my God, this movie's fantastic. Telling a whole side of Marvel that no one's seen yet. We've gotten the Earth perspective. Now we're getting the galaxy perspective.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Guardians 2. What Star-Lord's a little celestial? What? Telling a whole nother story about his dad. Guardians 3. Now we have Rocket's conclusion, the conclusion to the Guardians. Where were they going to go? Peter Quill's back on Earth. What's going on? This whole long storytelling without the necessity of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
That's where I can say James Gunn has my vote.
Yeah.
Because when he made Peacemaker, bruh, how many of y'all out there, be honest here, before Suicide Squad, how many out there knew who Peacemaker was?
Not me.
No one.
Not a fucking clue.
Yeah. No one knew who Peacemaker was unless you are a deep cut DC fan.
Yeah.
This man took Peacemaker and went, I'm going to make one of the best shows you've ever seen. And he did. Phenomenal show, front to back. Laughed my ass off. almost every episode gripping, chilling, drama. You know, more like John Cena sold the character perfectly.
Yeah.
No questions asked. Fantastic show. He's already talking about, like, you know, and I understand all of us fans out here were upset about him. Like, hey, Henry Cavill, you're gone. That's our Superman, dude. Why? Like,
yeah,
everyone of the old heads had Christopher Reeves. Give us Henry Cavill. He's ours.
Yeah.
No, like, okay, he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, Gal Gadot, you're gone too. Oh, Ben Affleck, the best Batman / Bruce Wayne we've seen in a long time.
Was really good. Yeah.
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these Ray Fisher gone.
Yeah.
You know, no more Cyborg. The only two we had left, Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, both gone.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Momoa is still in talks to be in DC though. Everyone thinks he'd be Lobo, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But he started telling about how he's going to do Superman, the Superman saga. No one really knew what it was about until we started finding out the casting for all of these characters that are going to be in it. And like the villains he's bringing in, it's like, oh.
I don't think I've actually heard much of that. Yeah.
Metamorpho is going to be in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
There was talks. I don't know if they actually cast it. I have to double check. The android, what's his name? Amazo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's supposed to be in it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So we're getting an actual telling. And then of course there's like this oddity of like, I think it was like Super Swamp Friends or something like that. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I can't remember the exact cut of it, but everyone was very fishy on like how he's doing this. I think he's doing it right. He's establishing a universe before he starts expanding it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to do.
You
like
need
that's
a core, for sure. Yeah.
You can't build a house on a twig.
No. Mm-mm.
It's not going to happen. You know, and Superman's going to be that first step. I get it. Sure.
I mean, that's kind of the most popular DC anything, you know, like it'd be either Superman or Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's been played out a lot. And don't get me wrong, you know, we love Dark Knight, you know, Batman Begins, all of that. Robert Pattinson's Batman was pretty good. Like, you know, I liked that one a lot, but I don't know if that's the future of Batman.
It's not.
You know,
he's already confirmed it's not.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking, you know, like if they were to pick it right now, you know, before they said anything, I don't really see that being a future like Marvel has done.
Yeah, and this is something we have to recognize too. Is like, in order for us to get to where Marvel is, it's gonna be a decade of building.
It's gonna be huge, for a long time. Yeah,
and DC's always been good about making sure their animated stuff's good, but their live action's been rough.
Yeah,
I think they've had great actors and great characters told. I think it's time for them to take that step into the light of, you know, a long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
Part of me worries though, because with Hollywood pushing as hard as they are to provide, you know, quantity over quality, we're never going to get it. Like, because Warner Brothers still owns DC, like, and that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers heads are awful.
Well, and Warner Brothers keeps changing hands too. So like, you know, there's no stability there.
Right.
And as much as a lot of people didn't like the fact that Disney bought Marvel, that's some huge stability. Right
well,
there,
I mean, they put Kevin Feige at the helm, and Feige's been look. Feige has been top notch, amazing ever since.
And even still, like, everybody was worried that, like, oh, they're gonna downplay it. We had the first F-bomb in Guardians. You know, like, you know, they're not pulling back. You know, they're staying true to the material, which is good.
If I'm not mistaken, Deadpool's supposed to be rated R as well.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I know they said that apparently Blade is supposed to be rated R. There's a couple other ones that they said they were doing, but like, you know, DC needs to take that page and recognize, like, slow down.
Yeah.
Get your core. They could have done that with BVS. They could have started with BVS. That's fine. Have your two most massive names go head to head.
Yeah.
Let it happen. You've already gotten Man of Steel. So Man of Steel leads into BVS. BVS introduces Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yep.
You now have your Trinity. Okay, great. Let BVS be the next step. You teased the Flash, you teased Cyborg, you teased Aquaman. Okay. The next one, let's get some spinoffs. Let's get some solos. Let's get that Flash movie. Let's get that Wonder Woman movie. Great. Yeah. We got a couple of them. Keep building on it. Mm-hmm. Don't just think you can go, okay, we got a couple of these. Great, let's get a big one. No, that's why you shouldn't have done Justice League so fast.
Yeah.
Justice League that fast, especially with the fact that Warner Brothers got their greedy hands on it and took Snyder out and put Whedon in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is where the state of Hollywood's going. It doesn't matter. Like even and this is even with like normal television, like a sitcom television or just episodic television, is like they are producing at such a high rate.
Yeah.
And forgetting the quality behind it.
Yep.
It's awful. I was just browsing Netflix the other night and I could not find a new thing to watch because all of it looks like the same.
It's all recycled garbage.
Yeah.
It's the same story told
over
100
and over
different
again.
ways. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is there's a lot of people out there that eat that shit up.
Oh God. No.
So that's, we might be in the minority on that one,
And we probably are, to be honest with you.
I feel like, as much as they say, like nerds, stay so passionate and everything, but I mean, it's because it's great material.
Yeah.
That is original usually.
Well, that part of the why I love being a nerd is that the story doesn't just stay to one lane.
Yeah.
The story can go amongst other. That's what I'm saying with Marvel. They could have easily told a multiversal story by giving us a brand new group of Avengers. Not within the same canonical universe. Give us another universe to tell a story on. Give us some character building there. Oh shit! Now all of a sudden we're getting a couple movies from our normal universe, and we have this going on, and multiversal effect. Like,
yeah,
I feel like we could have there's things like that where if you take the time to study the quality, which I'll give Marvel this, Feige recently in an interview reported like, hey, look, we've heard the people talk. We're backpedaling for a second. Yeah. You might not get some content for a little bit because we want to make sure we're providing the quality.
Which is good.
Yeah. We've heard the cries. We understand y'all are upset. We're going to fix this.
Yeah.
And that's great.
That is good.
That's, that's why I love, like I said, and I will say this until I turn blue in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Filoni.
Yep.
Favreau. Perfect.
I'm so excited for the future of Star Wars because of that. And they're introducing such, the Star Wars universe was already huge and well established. And then, the sequels were mixed, we'll say, as far as reception. But
yeah,
they've managed to pivot off of that.
I'll say this about the sequels, and this is the only thing I'm going to touch on them because I don't want to sit here and spend the next 40 minutes talking about this. Mm-hmm. I want to ask first, what were your thoughts on the sequels?
They were pretty good. I enjoyed them.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that they were trash completely or anything. There's a lot of different directions that I would have gone with the storytelling. Like Finn, for example, like it was just kind of he started off being like a really good potential character and then just kind of turned into a background character that nobody really cares about. And just kind of was whiny and I didn't really like him. But I'd say overall, like it was enjoyable enough. Like, of course, graphics had gotten to a whole nother level. So like a lot of like the space battle stuff and all that was super dope. But
yeah,
I'd give it like, if I had to score it like out of 10, I'd give it like a 6 maybe, for the trilogy.
I think that the sequels were good. I think the sequels, the problem with the sequels was not a Star Wars effect or a George Lucas effect. Mm-hmm. The Star Wars sequels was a Disney effect.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That was fresh Disney acquisition stuff.
Kind of, yeah. Well, it's more so the fact that they took J.J. Abrams, who so for anybody who doesn't know this, J.J. Abrams sat down and created an entire trilogy story. Mm-hmm. Like wrote it out, thoughts, the whole 9 storyboard, presented it to George Lucas, and Lucas went, yes. If the creator of Star Wars says yes, don't deviate from that plan. Because that man created 6 of the best movies anyone's ever seen. Mm-hmm. Period.
Easily.
Disney went, cool. Abrams, you got the first one. Force Awakens. We get it. Loved the Force Awakens.
Force Awakens was great. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Like I said, was great potential like for Finn, for example, but later on.
Yeah. Rey, great protagonist. Loved her. Daisy Ridley, fantastic actress. Love her in that. Finn loved the character building. We have a stormtrooper who went rogue. Okay, all suddenly seems like he might be a little force sensitive. Okay, cool. Kylo Ren, aka Ben Solo, someone who ties directly into the Star Wars storyline, the Star Wars arc. Not the Star Wars, the Skywalker arc. You know, the telling how that Skywalker bloodline continued. He actually looks like a big bad, someone who can really be like, you know, even though that temper tantrum scene that everyone jokes about, I thought that was great. That's just rage right there, is what that is.
That's what Sith are. They're just rage and passion and anger incarnate.
Correct.
Like, you know, so
then all of a sudden, Abrams, you're not at the helm anymore.
Yep.
Who did we get for the next one? It was John. No, what was his name?
I can't remember.
Either way, the second one, not a bad movie.
No,
not a good movie.
Mm-mm.
Because it felt exactly like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
except not as good. Now, make no mistake, the Holdo maneuver,
that was dope.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
seeing that on the big screen, oh my god, I'm just chills.
Mm.
But everything else, mid. This whole, what was it, the Rose Finn love storyline thing?
Yeah,
forced.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we get the third movie. All of a sudden now we're having to catch up on all this storyline that was not told appropriately in the second movie, because the second movie took place over what, like 8 hours of canonical time. And now all of a sudden in the third movie, we're having to rush like, okay, so Kylo Ren found the beacon. Now he's going to Exegol. What's Exegol? No one knows. Okay, well, why is he going to Exegol? Well, something's pulling him there. Okay, what's pulling him there? Oh, it's Palpatine. Wait, Palpatine died. Yeah, well, Palpatine had a clone. Wait, what do you mean the clone? None of that was told. No. That's why, and for everyone who's calling for a retcon of the sequels, shut the hell up. Mm. That's why I love Favreau and Filoni, because they're telling long-form storytelling to give us the details that were not provided into the sequels. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Especially with the potential of Heir of the Empire there. Like,
if we get, oh my God, dude. Oh, if we get Heir.
I mean, we're getting it. That's what they said. They're calling it Heir of the Empire.
Yeah. And oh my God, dude.
I mean, like, I don't know if y'all get the chance, read that book by Timothy Zahn. Oh my God. There's a trilogy there. Read it. That's technically Legends, but I mean, if they might be bringing it into canon here soon. So,
well, they brought Thrawn in.
They brought Thrawn in canonically in a couple different ways. Yeah, through Clone Wars and Rebels, and then also there's some books too that are really good that are canonical. But yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yep.
And yeah, before we go down a giant rabbit hole there, because I could talk Star Wars forever.
Same.
I think we should wrap it up. So, I mean, in summary, Hollywood, get your shit together.
Yeah, honestly.
Don't just pump shit out for the sake of pumping shit out. Yep. Get some good quality people ahead of it, which seems like, at least on the nerdy side of the rope, they're starting to do that.
I will say they're starting to pull back a bit. Yeah. The fact that Feige, came out and was like, hey, look.
Yeah. We fucked up a little bit.
We're gonna fix this. The fact that Kripke, on the raunchy side of the nerdy things, like he was like, shit, this might go on for a while. We're not gonna rush it, but this might go on for a bit. The fact that Favreau and Filoni are helming one of the best story comebacks ever.
Yeah.
And just like in James Gunn, I have faith that he's going to do the same thing he did with Guardians and provide us with some of the best storytelling ever.
Yeah.
I hope that all of Hollywood can really get a grip on that. I hope that Netflix can also get a grip on that as well. Like, you can tell when Netflix takes their time on something, whether it be film or show, and when they're just pumping stuff out to pump it out.
Yeah.
I hope that a lot of these production companies can realize, like, look, yeah, unfortunately there are people out there who are just going to eat up content because they can, but quality will always trump quantity.
Yeah.
Backpedal a little bit. Like, we'll wait.
Yep.
I got no problem
waiting for something good.
I'll watch reruns if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they made video games for.
I love watching reruns, man. Like, I know, like, yeah, it's not the first time I've experienced it, but I can relive that a bunch of times, so.
Yep, exactly. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Yep.
We would love to know. I'm genuinely curious. I think we might get a mixed bag on this one.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's such a divisive topic,
Yeah,
so
true.
But we definitely love to hear both sides of it.
And also, while you're there, subscribe.
Yep. Or else.
Yeah. And if you don't have anything to say on this, like just drop an emoji because, engagement.
Yep.
It definitely helps YouTube recognize that you like what you're watching.
Yep.
And if you watch this far along, because we've been recording for 45 minutes, then you definitely love what you're watching. So like, yeah.
Might as well.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
But if you don't feel like pushing the subscribe button there's one behind me.
Yep.
Go click that. There's
Fancy
also a video right behind me as well.
Click it.
Yep. YouTube's telling you that you like it, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Later.